Hello, welcome to Sage Thyme. I'm Lillian, and also welcome to the special edition Winter Solstice Elemental Reading. And this particular reading is for the water signs, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Hello, beautiful water signs. I would say I saved the best for last because I think there's just been a culmination through all four of the elemental signs of, I've been feeling just this incredible support for something that's coming up. Not just the water signs, but it has been building with each element. I started with earth and then went to fire and air and water. Arbitrarily, it wasn't designed that way necessarily by me. And with each reading, there's just been this incredible accumulation of support. And I feel like, I'm mentioning that, I just feel like it's incredibly telling of what's available to us right now. I feel that people are going through a dip and have been for a few days maybe, or in the middle of it. And by dip, I mean just an internal deeper chiseling away of and no longer neededs, and I'm over it, and let's break the cycles, and I don't want to face these things, those kinds of things. Like, we're getting some kick up, not just within ourselves, but with those around us, kind of like our spirit team speaking through those around us. And so maybe the reaction instantly could be like, oh, that really just is not something I prefer, or it irritates me that this person does or is, and may not be with judgment, just something like aversion. And then when you can sit with it, when we can sit with it and really start asking questions about it, like, what is this all about? Why does this bother me? Really, like, toxic or not, why am I having a reaction so intensely? Those kinds of things. And so here we are, water signs, in the depths of emotions and conscious presence of those emotions. That's what I feel like consciousness is represented in all the elements. And in water specifically, it's emotions and memory of emotions. And that can be lifetimes of experience. So as I've done with the other three elements, I asked to see what book or something, piece of art, wanted to call itself out to be read or observed by your sign. And today, for the water signs, we've got Leaves of Grass. It's a Walt Whitman compilation. I have to admit, I haven't spent hardly any time with this since I got it a couple years ago. So I did a direct open up and see what appears, and how fitting. It's at first I wasn't sure if I wanted to read it because it felt heavy at first. And then I thought, well, it came up, so this is what it is. And as I read it more, it really was the heaviness that was showing the breaking free of it. And he mentions autumn, and as we're getting to the winter solstice, we're completing our autumn cycle, and we're moving into our winter cycle. Internal, if you're in the northern hemisphere, the internal winter of the self, the quiet, the stillness, the allowance of what's already been dropped and dead and decaying to now compress and alchemize and quietly potentiate is what I'm hearing. Anyways, without further ado, this is, I think it's in chapters, and the whole thing is Song of Myself. I don't really know. It's page 95. And the picture, I'll show you actually. I don't know if this is a constellation or not, but it's in the stars, and it's an image of a man arched and reaching. So after I read this, then we'll get into your tarot reading. So, and as to you, death, and you, bitter hug of mortality, it is idle to try to alarm me. To his work without flinching, the accoucheur comes. Accoucheur? The accoucheur comes. I see the elder hand pressing, receiving, supporting. I recline by the sills of the exquisite, flexible doors. And mark the outlet. And mark the relief and escape. And as to you, corpse, I think you are a good manure, but that does not offend me. I smell the white roses, sweet, scented, and growing. I reach to the leafy lips, I reach to the polished breasts of melons. And as to you, life, I reckon you are the leavings of many deaths. No doubt I have died myself 10,000 times before. I hear you whispering there, O stars of heaven, O suns, O grass of graves, O perpetual transfers and promotions. If you do not say anything, how can I say anything? Of the turbid pool that lies in the autumn forest, of the moon that descends the steeps of the soughing twilight, toss sparkles of day and dusk. Toss on the black stems that decay in the muck. Toss to the moaning gibberish of my dry limbs. I ascend from the moon. I ascend from the night and perceive of the ghastly glitter the sunbeams reflected, and debouch to the steady and central from the offspring great or small. Oh, wow. Yeah, I feel like each one of the readings has been a bit of a segue to the next, so it might be worth a go to watch the other readings, since we are all the signs. Even if your sun is in a water sign, we, you may already know, we are all the fire, air, earth, and water signs, all 12 of them. So let's do an overall card from Beyond Lemuria. That one wanted to come out. Yep. Here we've got the sound of the universe. It's interesting, right? I'm feeling as I'm looking at this through the camera lens, at least, it's almost, pardon me, as if there's this fiery influx around the head and face coming from the stars of, I was going to say information, but then I heard creative potential, I'm going to put in there. It's like the codes and the blueprints for a new creativity. And that's coming out in creating itself in a geometric, multi-dimensional, I don't even know how many dimensions are in that, 7, maybe 5, through her throat chakra. So I wonder, it's making me wonder, and it feels like a good wonder, like a yes, that what's coming in, this creative blueprint and codes that's coming in right now for you, is going to come out in manifestation through your voice. I don't know if you're a singer. Oh, now look, on the sides of her head, those look like speakers. And they're like projecting out the stars, like the wisdom of the stars is coming into you through the head and coming out of these speakers. Yeah, music or poetry, perhaps. I mean, Walt Whitman. Can we get more anything than that sometimes? I mean, he's one of the greats. And even though they don't compare, I put him right up next to Rumi and Lao Tzu and many of the more simplistic ones that I love so dearly. Anyways, poetry, music, are you simply speaking to people with compassion is what I'm hearing, and you're changing just by simply being in conversation with them. Let's see what the Fairy Oracle by Brian Froud wants to say. This deck wanted to stand alone in your reading, water signs, today. First card is out. Second card just dropped. I know, right? I get to see it and you don't, and I laugh at the epiphanies and then you wonder. This is the disadvantage for you of me pulling cards while recording. I do enjoy pulling them beforehand and looking at them and then going about my business and letting the messages come in as I walk away from them. Okay, one more so I can complete this. Thank you. Oh, Goddess bless you. 1 second, please. I got a tickle. I wore a blue scarf. You'll notice that 3 of the 4 recordings of the elements I did all in one day. Instead of changing shirts, which seems superfluous and whatevers, I put a scarf on to represent your sign. So here you go. My watery, loving, deeply feeling friends. We have, first and foremost, Luathus the Wild. Oh my goodness. He comes out with a lot of different things. It's not mean. He's not mean. He did come out in reverse. And I like that for you today because he's a bit of a ka-chow, if you catch my drift. He just comes down and lets you know how it is. And he's been in the muck and mire, so he's not afraid to come in with a pow to make a point if you're missing it. Again, he's not evil and mean or anything like that, but he's not good or floofy either. He's just what he is, and he's necessary. But he came in reverse for you today, which is telling me I'm hearing soft landings for you now. Soft, like a flat feather moving through your trail, moving along your stepping stones and your path. And then the next 2 cards that came out are our 2 singer cards, and these are my angelic cards. The Singer of the Chalice and the Singer of the Cruach. Oh, I see an image coming through that. We'll get back to that. Singer of the Chalice. So we know the chalice is often represented, say, in tarot as a cup and fulfillment. And it comes alongside with the water element in the tarot. When we're talking about an angel of fulfillment, we're going to a whole nother level and paradigm of what does it really truly mean to be fulfilled for you? And when you answer that at the deepest core seed of yourself, that beautiful line of stars from top to bottom in the center of this image, when you ask yourself and you open up into what that really means, fulfillment for you, the angels say then, go deeper. What would be more fulfilling than that? And I feel like it goes perfectly alongside our Luatha, the Wild, in reverse. Because it's telling me that doing things the hard way, learning things the hard way, I should say, is done for you. You're over it. How, man and woman, wahoo. I don't even know what I was just saying. It just kind of threw out. Speaking words is not my skill today. All right. So here, your fulfillment is recognizing I don't have to think in my head all the time. I see at the top of his head a glowing light, representing an opening to the entrapment of the thinking mind and allowing wisdom and gnosis through that seventh chakra to flow down. And this being the entire inner being of Luatha, who's like, when I go in there, when I feel like Luatha's saying, you know what, who I am, the truth of me is not what you're seeing on the outside. It's this. Luatha's saying, this is who I am. Not what it looks like in the images and the reality that sometimes I engage in. So maybe you have been feeling like on the outside, you're not seeing who you know you are at the truth of you. And I expect that you've been doing the dig down deep work. Of course you have. Of course you have. Oh my goodness, water signs, yes. To not only discover the truth of who you are, the truth of what fulfills you, and then deeper than that, more simple and vastly powerful than that first few truth layers that you found. And as you're touching that starlight, that stardust within you that's come from the top of your head, the seventh chakra entering within you, and you've touched it, it's now expanding, and it's not just moving through you, it's billowing laterally, outwardly, externally. This is she of the Kruak. This is what you are cultivating within your womb, within your sacral center. You can see it. It looks like, again, to me, I see it again today. Here's from here to here, and then arms, like a head and a little body, like a little light being, and just wings and everything. I'm seeing all this beautiful imagery of the you that you are creating within your sacral center. In a sense, whether you're a man or a woman, creating in that sacral center, cultivating the creation of the next you that you will be birthing from the inside out, from the center, expanding out, birthing yourself. I'm thinking actually truly in the spring, now that we're entering winter, in this late spring, birthing a more whole and complete and self-created you, one that represents who you are from the inside to the out, regardless of what that looks like. Because you are creating it so purely. Like there's no muck in there. There's no dissonance or discord in any of this energetic, spiritual embryo that is you. It's just, I'm feeling this incredible sense of grace and truth and like just, I'm going to say it, self-love, but in a way that is so much more than anything that you've ever really felt into. It's a new experience within you, and it's at your core, and it's birthing itself within you. You're creating it, you're infusing it and birthing it. So birthing yourself within you. And and he's one of my favorite cards. He's called Honesty. This is the feeling that I get when I look at this character, is just such peace and like heart-melting, teary-eyed feeling love, pure love for this character. And you can see on the inside, he's part leaf, I think, in his body, and you can see the light moving through him and circulating through his leafy vein body. And when you look in his eyes, you can see beyond all the riffraff and hubbub and chitter chatter, and it's just pure truth. It's honesty. And that's him. That's who he is. That's who you are. And more so who you're becoming than you've ever experienced. Of course, it's who you've always been, but now you're creating the space within yourself and clearing out the debris so that you can experience that more fully. And what a incredible Christmas solstice blessing to be planting that seed and leaving it and just allowing yourself to feel it as it grows. And I'm really I'm coming back to the whole, your voice it's not so much what you say, it's who you are when you say anything. Hello, it's good to be here with you. I feel like that's all that you're going to need to say, that sort of thing. And people's lives are going to change because what you are carrying through your voice is the truth of who you are. It's this honesty, this pure, unfettered love and truth and witness without judgment. And that vocal release of that embodiment is going to be changing lives in profound ways. I have giddy goosebump chills and tears in my eyes just talking about it, my friends. I am so grateful for this coming your way. And I think before we go, I know we're a little over 20 minutes, but let's pull one more from the Beyond Lemuria. I just feel like it's a nice sacred sandwich. We start with the Lemuria, and let's complete the reading. There we go. And how? Journey into wholeness. I mean, really, do I need to say much more? Confirmation. The rainbows coming from her solar plexus and heart and throat. It's all watery. Look at that, you guys. And she's below the lotus flower. She has turned the muck and mire into art, and she's used the darkness with the light to create color and spectrum and contrast and detail and my grace. My friends, that is it. Beautiful work. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this community, and have a blessed winter solstice. Much love.